Hello, dear ones. It's Maria from the Awakening Path. Today is June 6, 2021. For you, I'd like to talk to you about God's consciousness. All living things share God's consciousness. All living things is part of God's consciousness. For you that's new to my channel, I make videos in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And the playlist for all my videos in English is in the description of this video. Just a little summary. We were created by God, like Himself. We are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. We are part of God's consciousness. So, all living beings share the same consciousness. Let's go to Dolores Cannon's book. There was a story there that really impacted my life tremendously. She made a regression on one of her clients, and for her surprise, she started describing herself as a worm, earthworm. And that little worm, there is something happened, that little worm fall in a pond and she was drowning. And then she managed to climb to a leaf. And she stays there on that leaf for a long time. She doesn't know how long. And I may dry up here and just die here. But she was able to make to the shore and she was safe. She didn't die that day. But what struck me is that lady that was there, Dolores Cannon's client, that was there, living a full life as a human being. In one of her past life, part of her consciousness was incarnated in a worm. So that's changed completely my perception about insects and animals. If God's consciousness was on that worm, it's in everything. It's just in everything. And the same consciousness of a worm, of a bug, of a mosquito is the same consciousness of a human being. And then you say, oh, no, that can't be. No, my consciousness is a way more special than a consciousness of a worm. No. All consciousness has the same source. That's God. God's just in a word. You can just call source. All consciousness has the same source. The difference is, to incarnate in a worm, you don't need a full consciousness. Less light come to that worm. When you evolve and you come as a human, so in order to animate the human body, more light, more consciousness need to come to the body. So the amount of light is the only difference. The amount of consciousness that come to the body is the difference. But the source is the same. The source is the same. So from that day on, I never more killed any spider in my house. I tried to trap them somehow and take outside. I started really to respect and understanding all living things, because all living things has a purpose. And then you think, but Maria, everything has consciousness? How that be? Yes, for example, some all the trees have a collective consciousness. That's mean they do perceive themselves as an individual, but at the same time their consciousness is all connected. What one tree knows, all the others know, because they have a collective consciousness. The same thing as the bee and the ants. They perceive themselves as an individual. However, they don't need to communicate with words or even sounds. They just know, and their consciousness is connected. And there was another Dolores Cannon's client that he regret to a life where he was an ant. And then he lived his life as an ant. And then he died as an ant, and he went to the post life. And then he had his life review as an ant. What that could possibly be. And then she asked to his higher self, what was the purpose of that life? To learn to rely on others, to learn to work in community. So everything has a purpose. So that's the message I like to give you today. I'm trying to make shorter videos, and all living beings has consciousness. Let me just blow your mind a little bit. I heard that even things that we perceive that are not alive, like a chair, a table, a computer, a stone. Actually, Dolores can also regret to a past life where part of the consciousness of somebody is incarnating a stone. So what was the purpose of that? To learn patience, because not much thing happened in the life of a stone. To learn patience. So even the things that we perceive as not alive also has consciousness. But I may explain that about more later. But all living things has consciousness. And for us to evolve, we really need to learn to respect all aspects of life. That's just another aspect of our one self, our one consciousness. That is one with the source, God's consciousness. So thank you for watching my videos, and see you next time.